What's up YouTube, COD4Man221 here, and welcome to more Company of Heroes 2 Season 4. We are playing as British with Nick, and we are playing on the new map, Düsseldorf, for the British expansion here. We have Raylight and Kalu, who are playing as the OKW forces, and I'm going to be showing off some cool things in the British. I'm going to show off some of their tanks. I get 3 different tanks in this match, and I'll kind of see how that is. We're going to switch over back to the classic view like I like. So I've gone for a new commander. Well, you've only seen me play as one commander against Nick. This is called the Tactical Support Regiment. Now the biggest thing this has is a forward observation post. Now I never used this before, but imagine the Soviet forward headquarters where you put that in a building. Imagine like a much better one that costs 3 times as much fuel. Artillery cover is excellent. I did not try the first 3 parts of this doctrine, however. Anyway, so let's look at Düsseldorf on the tactical map here. You can see the fuels are both of the players, basically right near their base. So the biggest thing here is you have a victory point in the middle of the road here, where there's a large church here, and you have victory points scattered on both sides of the map. So the plan for me and Nick was basically Nick was going to try to hold the center here. Nick was going to hold this area right here, and I was going to form a kind of defensive perimeter around his left flank, and we're just going to cede the whole right side of the map to them. They can have it. Now this can only backfire if we start somehow losing our fuel, but I'm just going to basically get entrenched. The British are very similar, I'd say, to Company of Heroes 1, except they do not have a Vickers emplacement. They do not have any kind of machine gun bunkers, but they do have... I'll actually be able to show you in a little bit once I get some engineers. They do have AT, and they also have mortar emplacements, and the mortars have 2 of them in them, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, so this is the kind of little train yard area right here. So this is a very critical building. It is a train station. It looks exactly like the train station from Lenny Forest, however you want to pronounce that. So basically, I've actually fought against a player here on this map, on Düsseldorf, and it's really good actually because this building gives you some nice MGs. Anyway, I'm going to fall back because I will lose one-on-one against these guys here. I just captured that point, so I'm going to bring up multiple forces against these guys here, and they're just going to keep pursuing me. Now, the British they basically fire faster when they're in cover, so it's really important to get your guys in cover. It's really nice to have an advantage for troops. It increases smart tactical play by being able to, like, keep your men in cover. You gotta know the basic cover for the Brits anyway, right? You're not gonna win Company of Heroes 2 by running in the middle of the streets of the British. You guys will get torn up. It seems like their infantry sections are basically... They seem to have less health than an average grenadier squad. Now, I haven't looked at I don't think anyone's put out some specific numbers yet for the average British squad, but you saw with even just a little bit of fire, look how, I lost a decent amount of squad health there. Now, you weren't like that guy who just dramatically died on the victory point there, but, they seem to be, especially in the open, you really know how quickly they'll drop. So I'm going to capture the munitions here. So that's my plan, kind of. I have 2 machine guns coming out. I'm just going to lock down this forward position here. I even set up some nice sandbags. You got to love having the sandbags as the British. They offer protection, but they're not super durable. And the trench costs you some manpower, so you got to be a little careful. I wish they were kind of like they basically copied the model from the Germans when they can build trenches. But I would have loved those like this. I love those classic slit trenches for the British in COH 1. Like, they looked really cool. Anyway, Nick has the church. They don't seem to they kind of pressured me a little bit, but they seem to be focusing on locking down this whole right side here, and we don't mind. They can have it. And look at this cool building. Like, it's not cool because it's just cool they have flags on it. It's like an old headquarters building of Wehrmacht. So it's interesting it's kind of nice they capture that, I guess, for their own pride. And we have a nice little fountain here. Kind of reminds me of the fountain in World at War in the sniper mission, where you're kind of in a plaza. But it could just be a fountain. But that's the VP anyway. So you can see Nick has built a trench in the middle of the road, giving his men some nice cover. Let's see if we can see them through the camouflage netting. Can we? Yeah, we kind of see them. Ah, nice shot right there. That might actually be a nice little screenshot. Okay, we got a nice little screenshot here. Maybe one more. Okay, we're good. Enough great pictures. Okay, so basically it's going to be a little bit of a lull in fighting right here early on. But this is just going to allow me, basically they're kind of testing Nick's defenses on this side. This is going to allow me to set up in pretty decent position here. I have an MG in this house here, And I have 2 squads right here, so I'm pretty set. I've also got my first unit of Royal Engineers, so I can explain more about the British. So the British Royal Engineers are critical. They cost 210 manpower, but you have to get these guys if you're the British. Basically, they allow you to put down mines, barbed wire, a forward assembly area, which is basically think of the OKW battle group headquarters. So I'm actually going to build one of these a little bit later on. But what this does is allows you to actually make a forward retreat point. It allows you to reinforce. It also allows you to pick up the Piat and the Bren. So you can pick up weapons from there. So that's a very useful building. Costs 150 manpower. The British also have the 3-inch mortar emplacement. Trust me, you're not missing too much besides Nick's like 50 cal sniper here. You know, why can't the Americans have a sniper? I'm sure they had them in World War II. Of course they had them in World War II. Like every nation had snipers, but they don't give the British, they don't give the United States a sniper unit. Okay, so let's go back to the mortar emplacement. You know, you've seen that from COH 1. No, 400 manpower, no fuel or anything. The AT gun costs 75 fuel. You're almost better off for getting a tank for how much that costs. And you also have the QF 40mm emplacement. I've never actually built one of these yet, but we'll hope to build them at some point. This guy's actually trying to attack my fuel here, and I do not like that. So the Royal Engineers who have their nice Sten guns are going to run through the building here. These guys do look pretty sick, actually. And Nick just, look at that, just like cut that guy in half. Look at that, there's just like arm right there. So that's fine. The guy tried to shift over this way and he's gonna come try to maybe attack me a little bit. And I have machine guns, like I'm ready for this. And we have this great position here in this building here with our nice Vickers. And they're just gonna do a lot of damage. The Vickers, the problem with the Vickers is they have no special abilities. They're just like the American 50 cal, but they're a good machine gun so far. I think, you know, they're not as mobile as a Maxim, and they have about the same arc, maybe a little less of the MG42, but let's look at them. Yeah, it has a pretty decent arc, maybe a little wider than the MG42. I'll have to actually compare at some point here. I know you can see Nick is in the church. What's really cool about the church is they can actually shoot out of like the stained glass here. They actually put like, you can actually see like saints here on the stained glass. That's a very nice detail. Only someone that's looking at the building very close up like me would know. You know, I'm starting to lay some barbed wire. I really don't want to get flanked around here. I want to make sure they attack in this forward area here where I have my machine guns. And you can see Nick has got to be very careful with his sniper here. A couple shots to these guys and they could die. Actually trying to take out his machine gun here, so there goes another grenade in the church. But it's a big building. The larger the building are, usually the harder it is for to basically collapse the building first of all. Some small buildings can be easily taken out with their health, but the less likely damage you're going to do to units. Alright, Nick is taking back the victory point. Check this out. So what he did was he brought his flak half-track up against my machine gun. Now you got to remember, the flak half-track is good, but it's a half-track. Do not put this thing in front of a machine gun stationary like this, and do not put it in front of AT guns. This thing will get destroyed. So basically, he has a damaged engine right here. I'm just going to keep peppering him. He tried to go up against my building here. So he set up his half track there and said, okay, I'm not taking too much power. So he had to unset up his half track and then try to pull back. And he actually got destroyed there. So that's a major defeat for the OKW on this side here, losing that very early on. Let's go to rate light here. You can see he has 86 fuel. That was a decent amount for his flak half track there. But they're actually gaining 25 fuel, and we're only gaining 26. So we're basically like the OKW right now. They do have some more of the map, though, so we'll give them that. If we look at the map here. Well, actually, it's about... We only have 3 tactical points, and they have... Okay, they have 5 tactical points. Okay, so that makes sense. They have more points than we do. And that will add up, too, because it's an extra 3 fuel. See, we're getting as much fuel as the OKW. Anyway, I got the nice 6-pounder, QF 6-pounder. Does anyone know what QF actually means? If you know, put it in the comments. So I have my nice little anti-tank here. You know, if I have the anti-infantry with machine guns, I better have some anti-tank against, you know, maybe a Panzer IV will pop out or something. So I got to be careful about that. And I have my 2 units back here. We are waiting till we get 200 manpower to actually build a nice little fuel cache for me. I already have one set up over here on the far left side of the map there. And then, you know, just 2 units will build this quite quickly. It'll also make it harder when there's fuel caches for the enemy to go behind your lines and basically start capturing points and trying to cut off your fuel. So it's kind of a little bit of stalemate right now. Our opponents, you know, we know it's too quiet. You know, it's like all quiet on the Western Front here. Did he actually build these sandbags, or are they actually in the map? They can't actually build sandbags, I don't think. Not that kind, at least. Yeah, it's the world. Okay, cool. Nick has a lot of units here, and he's ready. But look, there's a lot of guys that are just gonna ready to come out and flank him on this side, on his far right side. So he's actually shooting at the OKW right there. And you can see what's cool about the British infantry is you can actually upgrade them to two different ways. You can upgrade them with the artillery basically, so you can give them some supplies to throw red flares, red smoke, and you get the medical supplies. And the medical supplies actually heal up your troops. It's really good to get at least one medical squad for that reason. Now, one thing I've noticed that's been very hard for the British to counter early on are a lot of these infantry support guns. They seem to have gotten a very good buff actually recently. It seems like they actually give suppression damage, and they can be quite accurate, especially if any of the bulletins. So our opponents know Nick is dug in, and this is the way to counter it. You get a Stuka Sufus, get a couple of artillery to blast the British positions. And only so many guys, actually they're actually shooting all of them. They're shooting out of that trench there.
If they attack, the enemy will get a drubbing, thanks to our new anvil tactics.
Nick should really turn this on to prioritize vehicles so it's not shooting. It doesn't have to. And the Stuka is coming down. This is when I see Nick's in a lot of trouble. So you can see that the Stuka just wiped out a squad there. Nick almost lost a sniper. I have my men running down. Just gonna try to flank them. So I'm setting what I can to try to help Nick, but he's losing a lot of troops right here. Oh, actually, this is the forward forward assembly area. It looks like. You can see you can pick up the Piat or the Bren if he needs. Anyway, I have my troops. We're gonna take cover by the church wall here. And this kind of in the side and flank of the enemy, so you can see those Panzer strikes do kill enemies. I'm kind of dodging grenades, but it was the wrong squad, and that actually almost got those guys killed. I gotta fall back here. And Nick is actually reinforcing off this, which is excellent. So he actually picked up, he lost his sniper. You can see there's a sniper laying in the street there, right here. But what he's able to do is he's able to pick up that anti-tank sniper rifle, and that's going to do a lot of damage to enemy units when it hits them. But they're trying to destroy this position here. I think Nick pulled back a little prematurely there, but I mean, he's under a lot of fire. Anyway, Nick has his machine gun set up, another Vickers. He's trying to save this forward some area, which he won't be able to do. There's too many, anti-tank around. I do think the British look really cool with these units here, including the Bren. Anyway, Fallschirmjägers pop out at this point behind us. That was a very good use of the Fallschirmjägers. I have to say our opponents. So Nick's forward position has basically wiped out. That's cool. The enemy actually can't man the trenches. They stole his AT. Nick now has a half track, which he can actually reinforce off of, so he can deploy Vickers and Piat. And the Vickers are very good. We'll see Nick deploy this a little bit later for me to help me out. So my infantry is back at base reinforcing. I basically got them reinforced as quickly as possible, and I moved my men up. It also seems like the British lack manpower. I mean, the OKW, we're getting about the same manpower, right? But the British didn't have that much. Like the whole argument for the OKW having less resources early on is that they couldn't afford them, right? By 1944, in the OKW, that's where they're kind of set their time period. Look at them wiping out squads. By the time the OKW time period's basically set, they've, Germany's basically been losing the war for about a year here, 1944. The war's at least not going in their favor, and they're low on munitions and fuel, so that explains why the OKW has less resources. But the British at this point in 1944, 1945, right? And this is one of my favorite tanks. My opening tank is a Cromwell. It's 110 fuel. And it can also always upgrade your guys with the tank commander. It makes them shoot faster, they can see a little bit more, and makes them more accurate. So I'm like, you know what? Fortune favors the bold. I doubt they think I'll have a tank, and I doubt they'll think I'm gonna... Like, I didn't think they would actually... my tank misses there, of course. I didn't think they would actually think that my tank would go all the way behind their lines and kill their Stuka Sufus, but I'll do that. One more shot and he's dead. I can take a couple shots from this AT here. This guy cannot take one more shot, so I'm going to pull back here. Now, this is a very urban map, so I can get away. You know, there's stuff I can hide behind. So, I mean, there's a great, like, kind of sneak attack there. There's a lot of, you know, also, under new law, their anti-tank troops that actually pulled back to base because they very badly damaged. And this thing, so the Cromwell is just effective against all targets. This is pretty decent against infantry and is okay against tanks. I'd call it like a Sherman, actually. It's basically like a Sherman M4A3 for the American units, right? That's what they're like. I mean, it's not going to have the best gun. You don't want to be taking on a Panther with this thing, but it's actually really not too bad against infantry. You saw it, you know, it's already killed 3 infantry so far. Well, 2 infantry, and it also killed in 2 shots that Stuka. So now they've lost their artillery advantage. They still have an infantry support gun, but that was a major loss for them. So that's twice, I think. Is it? Yeah. That's twice this guy's lost a lot of his stuff here. Anyway, they've officially set up that. So this Panzer headquarters is going to make it very hard for us to take back the center. Look at these Lewis guns. Look at them just... They're shredding these guys here. In cover like that. Anyway, I'm just going to say, okay, I'll shoot at the guys in the church if they want to hang out right here. Anyway, Nick will be reinforcing when he can with these units, but they're dying too quickly from the reinforce, it seems like. I gotta be careful, I don't want to get Panzerfausted, but look at that. Just wiped out another, like, 6 infantry there. You can see this is really not bad. The commander's actually making him even more deadly than he is, and I'm gonna try to chase down this unit if I can, you know. The thing is, they're using very expensive infantry, and if I can wipe out these squads, it makes it a lot harder for them to you know, it costs a lot more for them to reinforce later on in the manpower battle we're having here. You know, I just pulled back and managed to wipe out that squad. They have some AT and infantry support gun around that area. But look at these Lewis guns, like... It almost seems like a Thompson, like you'd think like a Thompson on full auto there. And we see that this is here now, so Nick's going to have to pull back. They keep manning the church, which is kind of annoying. And I actually, by accident, got 2 Royal Engineers. I didn't need this many guys here. I didn't actually realize this. You can actually upgrade your Royal Engineers with the Heavy Engineers, which makes them repair faster. Okay, so limits them so they can't... Wow, okay, you can make your Royal Engineers equipped with a light machine gun. That seems pretty good. The Vickers? Must be the same... Okay, I should try that next time. So, you know, I'm even learning new stuff, too. I've only played a couple games as the British. Anyway, I'm still, you know, I'm just hanging out over here. I'm keeping some units to kind of hold this area, lock it down, so... And I'm focusing more on the middle. And you can see Nick is being very nice, and he actually dropped some of these amazing light machine guns for me. Were they really light machine guns, though, back then? Well, I guess they kind of are. But these guns here, these Lewis guns, quite deadly. I'm sorry, they're the Vickers K. I wonder if that's the same unit these guys get. Wow, okay, so if you upgrade your Royal Engineers, I don't know how much this will actually cost. Can you just upgrade that for free and give them light machine guns? Because if not, because if you can, that's amazing. It looks like it's for free, because the Minesuper's 30. Anyway, Nick's half-track is making it very easy for us to reinforce here. You can see Nick is building the 3-inch mortar emplacement. And he's going to basically try to, you know, the goal is basically to bombard the enemy positions. Especially this area right here. If we can destroy this Panzer headquarters, we can take back the center. And Nick also got, this is a very light tank. It's a Centaur. And basically what this is it's basically anti-infantry, like anti-aircraft. It's very good against infantry, especially blobs. But I've also got another tank for you guys. I have the Churchill. I didn't show this off in the first video I did. But this is a very good tank. It's a very, I don't want to say it's tanky, but it's a very heavy armor tank here. It's very thick frontal armor, and it takes a lot to take this guy out. I mean, it's really a tough tank to take out. It also has a really unique thing called infantry support smoke, so it kind of slows down your tank while it pops this out, but it kind of gives the allies, this is like the first ally tank with actual smoke, besides the Sherman. So you can actually like pop smoke. But it's not like you pop it in an area, it actually pops off your tank. So it's not like the Sherman can shoot smoke, right? You know, it like fires them up in the air. It also has grenades, so it can actually shoot grenades at people, which is pretty cool. Anyway, look at this thing. It just ripped up these 2 squads here, so 8 kills on them. Very good anti-tank. The British definitely have a great tools to counter blobs if you use them correctly, especially the Churchill crocodile with the flamethrower. This thing will shred units. Anyway, you can see we are dealing with a little bit of a blob situation. They have a ton of infantry in this vicinity right here. And I gotta get this guy back, or I'm gonna lose him. But they hopped into this place right here. I gotta shoot at that because that's where the AT is. But you can see they're just... I'm in a lot of trouble right here. I gotta get this guy back. I'm not paying attention. I lost my squad there. But that makes me jump every single time that very loud shot. You can see I'm just gonna pull back my Vet 2 tank, and we're just... I mean, this thing's getting a ton of kills, 16 kills, and so is this guy. So their infantry is being basically pushed back here. And I just wiped out that squad there, so... You can see the dead German units here. They've lost a lot of men, and all in the name of trying to destroy this mortar emplacement, which hasn't really exactly worked. Now, we've been targeting this. Both Nick and me have been targeting this. And we damaged it quite a lot, so... At this point, I was telling Nick, okay, I want to repair my tanks here, you know, when I can. I asked Nick to... I gotta do... I'm gonna use this next game as the British. So, I basically told Nick, you know, I got a Churchill here, let's move up and let's try to take this guy out here. You know, I can bring up my tank, you know. Let's just take this out, because that way they won't get any tanks on the field here. So you can see this guy, he's actually not even close. He's actually grabbing a King Tiger right now, I know. How are the British going to defeat a King Tiger with their armored force right now? So they have a, we lost, they can't like basically make any Panthers or any kind of supporting things now, which is good. Obersoldaten are also very deadly to British infantry. You can see these. Just one of these, thankfully. When they spam these, it is really annoying because they actually suppress units, which is, I just think it's dumb. If you're gonna have artillery suppress units, it should be all artillery. Like if I were to fire some, you know, heavy artillery down on a position, the men should be instantly suppressed. We're gonna have a light gun like that suppress infantry. Like, come on. So you're probably wondering what I think the weaknesses of the British are, since I played a couple games with them. The British start really slow, and their infantry really suck unless they are with, they need to be in cover, basically. They fire faster that way, but the British infantry can be upgraded. You know, they can be quite good. They're kind of a defensive faction, but they can be offensive also. But their biggest advantage, I think, is having all the defensive tools at their disposal, and the amount of variety of armor. I'm very pleased with the British as a faction overall with the amount of armor they're offering. These guys are basically, they have so much armor here, like. So I actually I chose the anvil, which gives me the Churchill tank basically. But so you can see they have. Okay, so you can see they basically have, they have the Centaur, they have the Cromwell, they have the Sherman Firefly, they have the Churchill. Not to mention, if we hop on the Nick, I'm sure he unlocked the other one. Up he unlocked the anvil also. Well, basically, there's also the Comet tank, which is really good. And they have the Churchill, you know, they have the Churchill Crocodile, which is absolutely deadly against enemies. Anyway, so we have a King Tiger here, which could be very dangerous to me. Could be very dangerous at this point because it's a King Tiger. I have a Churchill and a Cromwell. And Nick has just said Centaur. There's what's going on. Look at that. The other that one crashed right there. Look, it like skipped off the roof there of that house. So basically they're doing the Fallschirmjäger kind of assault package there. It's like a, what's it officially called? The airborne assault. So Nick did that, not Nick, they did that, and it basically failed. Mainly because I have machine guns here in AT still, and also probably due to the fact, I gotta get this guy out of here, he's gonna die, which he does. Basically due to the fact that this guy shot down their air support, but also they were landing in a position that was heavily guarded already. And it had 2 machine guns and crossfire, so that's why they died. Anyway, you think his King Tiger would want to kill this, so I have my tank over here. And, you know, Nick has his Sherman Firefly. He's definitely going to equip this thing with rockets, which he's doing right now. Because rockets, you can actually equip them with both the commander and the rockets. Rockets are very good against armor, not good against infantry. Do not shoot this against infantry. It will cost you. They will miss. It means these guys are just getting shredded. This is, you know, pretty much anti-infantry, and the Cromwell's really not too bad against infantry either. So I gotta be a little careful. They're actually shooting. They're trying to wipe out my mortar emplacement here. It was in a very forward position, and I don't exactly blame it for almost getting killed here. Anyway, you can see our shells bouncing off this armor here. I'm moving up my AT also. At this point, if I can kill this, I will. If I can try to take out this King Tiger, I will. And Nick also, you know, he's gonna run over my nice barbed wire I set up earlier, but that's fine. But I think he's pulling back. He feels like he's isolated here. And the AT guys, it just keeps. It's all ATs coming from over here. So I'm turning around my tanks just in place here. And they're just getting, look at that. They killed my emplacement, but they just lost 2 squads there. They lost a full, you know, wow. I'm blanking. Sorry, they lost a full Storm Pioneer squad. I'm actually losing my mind, like, yeah, it's been a long week. Yeah, I'm right, Storm Pioneer, okay, I'm not losing my mind here. So that's a full Storm Pioneer squad and a full, Folks Grenadier squad. Anyway, so I'm kind of trying to be able to flank him, kind of scare him. You know, he can shoot at this guy. It's a pretty good target, but it's very heavily armored from the front here, so he's not doing a whole lot of damage. Nick wiped out some more ATs there, which is awesome. He has this Sherman Firefly here, and that just bounced right off its frontal armor there, so. I also have my own Sherman Firefly here, which I'm just equipping with the rockets right here. I should upgrade with the tank commander also. So we gotta be a little careful here, we don't want to get shreked. But there is a, you know, there's a tiger there, so we gotta be a little careful. I'm just gonna try to station my tanks, you know, around, ready to be able to shoot and support if we need. But you can see it's a hurt tank right now. It's not up to its full capacity. They even have some ATs moving up here. Keep in mind I do the artillery cover. I'm actually gonna try to launch some rockets at it, so we'll see that here. Actually, it did a lot of damage there to it, so I'm kind of letting Nick know, like, we should really try to push that guy. But they have some infantry support here and AT and everything, so. Some kind of artillery has been called down here. And Nick, that was a great shot from whatever Nick did. Concentrated fire operations. It forced this guy to be abandoned. It's like railway artillery. And look, another great shot from that. These British gunners deserve an award. Actually, now I've decided to put my own little artillery cover down. And basically, it's going along this point right here, and it's just going to be wiping out enemy units. I was actually going to try to seize this, but that gets destroyed in the end. Yeah, just straight from the air, just making it hell for the enemy, pretty much. And we're going to move up and start pushing towards their base here. See, Nick's going to target the AT first, obviously. But this guy is really good. Look how many kills he has. He has 27 kills, mostly infantry. But he has killed some vehicles. Anyway, so the King Tiger's been destroyed. I need to keep some. I'm actually just going to go right to his base. I was hoping to kill some enemy units here, but he doesn't actually have any. They're all up here. Or they were. They really don't have anything. So let's go on to Ray Light here. He has like 2 guys. 2 units. And this guy only has a Fallschirmjäger, so they're in a lot of trouble here. And I'm just destroying enemy. I'm going to try to destroy his command headquarters so I can't get a... I didn't know at the time, but he probably could get a King Tiger if he wanted. Let's actually go to Ray Light. Let's see how much fuel he has. Yeah, you can grab a King Tiger here. But he's actually going to try to go for the Jagd Tiger. I guess the thing is, the Jagd Tiger doesn't have a turret, right, on Düsseldorf here, right? It's a very... This map is not, you know... On an urban map like this, I would not suggest units that are, you know, like I wouldn't suggest Su-85. It's just like tank destroyers. I suggest stuff with turrets. Anyway, I didn't realize that at this moment, but I probably could have surrounded him And you can see I'm popping off smoke and trying to confuse this guy here, but he wasn't on the field yet, and it's just not worth losing a tank like that necessarily at this point. I don't think we realized how much damage we'd done to our opponents. Like, they really don't have any infantry left. Like, yeah, they've been decimated. They're making a lot of infantry now, but anyway, so I'm gonna gather up my tanks along this point here, and I'm gonna start easily repairing all my units, my tanks here. We need to keep them at full strength here. And I do have some infantry squads. I've actually upgraded my men finally, so you can actually, as a British, inside your field headquarters, it's really important to get all these for your infantry early on, especially this weapon one. You're going to be getting a lot of munitions as a British, so you get a little extra munitions. Just take that. Like, you need the weapon racks because you need that to counter the enemy. Grenades are nice, but you definitely need the 5-man squad. I do that a little bit later, but 4-man, you need to match the squads, basically. Anyway, so he starts getting, he moves up too far. I'm not too worried. They don't have any AT. I launched some rockets. He was backing up there, so he didn't do as much damage as I would have liked. But Nick's moving up, and he's going to launch his own rockets against him, I think. Oh, he got sniped by those guys. Anyway, I'm popping the smoke again with this. I'm loving this smoke. I could have actually popped a grenade if I wanted. The crocodile version is much better on the Churchill, though. Just gotta say. Anyway, he actually damaged the engine of that. Anyway, very lead infantry against this thing. It's basically like, you know, you hated the half track as the Germans, the Russian half track with its quads, you know, quad 50 cals. You're gonna have to hate this guy. 38 kills on it. It's 35 infantry have been killed. And he's trying to repair right here, but he's got to move up. He's got to save some infantry somehow. And yeah, low health infantry is just wasting units at that point, trying to get that AT. And here I am. You know, I have some infantry kind of watching out, see if there's any kind of armor coming towards me. But
artillery ready to support our vehicles.
We have oh yeah, I also didn't talk about this, but I've actually used part of my doctrine for a change. We look at this building right here. It gave me a free MG in here. Basically, I use this. It costs 6 fuels. It's a forward observation post. And this building's unique because it actually lets me call recon plane, which I'm doing right now. So you can see I just called the recon and kind of see where that guy is. And basically what that's doing is it's going to allow me to be able to direct my artillery fire on the Yacht Panzers, which I'm doing right now. And it's actually been suppressed there. So yeah, they're in a lot of trouble right here, but their tank getting destroyed. And yeah, Armor just got hit by my artillery, so basically Nick's gonna move with a Firefly here, and we should be able to take out that Yacht Tiger. Now my own tank's moving over here. Once they lose this, they're pretty much done. You can see there's not that much time left in the battle here. And destroyed by my artillery. Do not underestimate the artillery cover. That part of the doctrine right there. Anyway, it's still going. It's 25 more seconds, and it's actually going to target the, it seems like the engines. Yeah, it destroys the engines of enemy tanks here, so. Yep. Doing pretty well. And that guy's shocked also, so. There you go, and the infantry on this side are getting destroyed by my own infantry with our Brents. That guy said good game. And that's pretty much all. They're gonna kind of fight about if you want to surrender or not. Talk to each other, and they're not gonna do anything else. That's when they surrendered. So here are the kills here. Nick had more than me, especially with that, you know, Centaur there. Very good. Anyway, I lost. We really didn't lose that many troops to these guys. Good game to our points. Hope you learn a little bit more about the British, and I'll see you in the next commentary.